It's one of these things. As I was reading through the readings over and over and over again, I was saying, well, I could talk about this, I could talk about that, I could talk about this. But honestly, nothing struck me, and nothing was like, well, I could say something, but what good is it to just say something? And then I was just like, okay, Lord, what do you have to say to me? Suddenly, it's like, oh, you have something to say to me. Okay, and then once I took that, so that's what I'm going to share with you. Probably not something the Lord has to say to you, but He had to say it to me. And it's about trust. In the first reading, we hear about how the community of believers of one mind and heart, and they had everything in common, and basically they had to trust that God would provide for them in that moment. Now, on one level, of course, as a priest, it's very easy or easier, I should say, to be able to do this type of thing because I don't have a family to take care of. I don't have to make sure I got the kids and the spouse and everything kind of taken care of, and so I just have myself. So if I want to go and throw everything away and just follow the Lord, that's a little bit easier for me than for so many other people. But we see in the early church, in this very, very, very beginning stages, they trusted the Lord with everything. Yesterday I was listening to one of the Catholic speakers. I think it was Chris Stefanik, but there's so much stuff that comes in. I don't remember exactly who said it. He was talking about how on his mission trip to Haiti, when he was down there, these people had such peace about them. And he said it was because they weren't attached to anything happening the way they expected it to happen. He was talking about how our supply lines get cut off and we're all in a tizzy. And it's like, what's happening? For them, they're used to it. They're used to it. They say, I'll see you this afternoon. And they're going to drive out there. But maybe tomorrow if they break down and they can't get a tow truck or anyone to come and fix their car, maybe next week, And so they're used to having their lives disrupted and their plans disrupted, and they have to surrender over to the Lord. And for my own self, I know that's hard. I say I trust in the Lord, and in many ways I do, but still, it's like, but my plans, Lord. The psalm today, your decrees are worthy of trust indeed. Your decrees are worthy of trust indeed, that we can trust God. And in the gospel, Jesus is saying, the wind blows where it wills and we hear the sound it makes, but you don't know where it comes from or you don't know where it goes. So it is with everyone born in the Spirit. The Lord has given us the Spirit, but we don't have control over that Spirit. He moves where He wants. He moves where He wants. That prayer that I shared the other day, come Holy Spirit, come now, come as you will. As you will. Not as I will, not as I hope, not as I plan, as you will. I think about, when I've talked about different people who've come to maybe healing masses or other things and they've been healed. People come up to me at other times and say, Father Vaughn, how come I haven't been healed? Or can you heal me? It's like, no, I can't. Has nothing to do with me. I cannot heal you. Only God can. And He moves where He wills, so I can't tell you if it's going to happen or if it's not going to happen. Only He's going to be able to tell you that. And that takes trust. That takes an incredible amount of trust. And I know in my own life, as my own plans are disrupted, as my own, especially with everything going on now, I have to, again, surrender everything over to the Lord and say, what is it you want of me? Jesus, I will go where you want me to go. I will stay if you want me to stay. I will speak if you want me to speak. I will keep silent if you want me to keep silent. Blow where you will, Holy Spirit. And that takes trust. Because I may feel like the Lord is calling me to go and prepare for this, and He might be, but then that whole thing is destroyed. I think about St. Louis de Montfort, how he spent, I forget, it was a year and a half or however long, getting the people to build this beautiful monument to Calvary, to the Lord's crucifixion. And then the day before they were going to dedicate it, they got word that the government was going to come in and destroy the whole thing and shut it down because they had been told that it was actually a fortress against the government. And so St. Louis de Montfort said, okay, now we just have to build Calvary in our hearts. They spent all that time, all that money, all that effort doing something for the Lord, and it never saw its fruition. But he trusted. And for our own lives, we may be called to do certain things, but it's not necessarily the way or the reason we want to. As Mother Teresa said, that we're called to be faithful, not necessarily successful. And so let us turn to the Lord. Let us truly place our trust in the Lord, not just in our words, not just in our thoughts, but in our actions, saying, everything I do leaning on you, Lord. Without you, it's nothing, and I know that you, Lord, are going to be there to do what you want to do. Help me to trust you. Help me to trust your will. Help me to trust that I can lean on you, especially through the struggles, especially through the trying times.